Hello, everybody. Welcome to Spiritual Chit Chat, our Tuesday live YouTube show where we talk about all kinds of stuff. And today we are talking about Mardi Gras. Today is Fat Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, and it is the day where debauchery descends upon the land. And so I'm super happy to be here. I thought it'd be fun. I went to go find my Mardi Gras beads and I couldn't find them anywhere. I have a feeling they've been disseminated out into the youngsters. But we're going to talk about 5 steps to make life a little bit more joyous and a little bit more fun. And that is why I am wearing my unicorn horn, because this is one of the ways that we can begin to really start putting a little bit more fun in our life is doing silly things. Silliness is good. We've all been on like survival mode for years now. And we've been in this, these things crack me up. We've all been in this like, holy moly, what's happening next? What's coming next? What's going on? And I just want to do this show to bring back some ideas where we can start kind of enjoying life again in little ways, and a lot of times it's the little things that really, really matter. So I'm just waiting for you guys to get on. If anybody, I know we got a few people here. Let me know in the chat that you're here with me, that you can hear me, that everything is on and hop in. I was playing with stuff. Hey, Barbie. Yay, unicorns. Unicorns. Awesome. Thank you, guys. We got Rev Ned in the house. I want to remind everybody we've got Bridge Walkers after Spiritual Chit Chat today. So once we get done here, don't go too far because we're talking about some good stuff. All right. Hey, Anita. Hey, Hillary. Thank you, guys. Yay, Rev Ned says, love you, family. And we love you, Rev Ned. We love you. You bring such a joy and such happiness to the world. And we are happy you're here. Yay, spirit songs popping in. Thank you, guys. It's so much more fun when we're all here together. And that's one of the other things. Karen is here. Ooh, ooh. Karen's in the house. Life isn't supposed to be hard, and I think a lot of us have become programmed, and I don't mean just the last 3 years. Last 3 years has kind of been the icing on the cake, but it's a little bit programmed that, if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't count. No pain, no gain. You got to work hard for what you have. But I think we forgot that you can work hard, but you can still be happy, right? It might hurt a little bit, but you can still have a smile on your face and be a goofball. And so that's why I am wearing my unicorn horn. And also, just to shout out to Mardi Gras, to the time of year when we set everything aside and we just allow ourselves to move into the music, to move into all of the fun. And I'm using the word debauchery because that is a part of it. Not all of us are into the whole debauchery part of it, but we all have different levels of debauchery. I know I actually have never been to New Orleans during Mardi Gras. And I realize it does happen in other places around the world. I believe over in Europe, there are places, but it's really known in New Orleans. And it's a time to just put things aside. And it's so interesting because New Orleans really has a very beautiful culture where it's about, living in the here and now and being here and being family and food and the scents, the smells, the touch, the taste of things. And it has such a beautiful energy. And when Mardi Gras comes along, they've got parades and floats and balloons and music. All the bars are open. Everything is open out into the streets. People can just mingle and move. And it's just so fun. And again, like I said, I've never been there, but I've watched videos. And I've had friends that are there, and I've had friends that have FaceTime me when they were there, and I got to really touch into the energy. And to me, it's almost like we need to do that every once in a while. We need to kind of just throw off the chains of guilt and shame and grief and just kind of let ourselves soar. Just kind of let ourselves soar. And again, it doesn't have to be the debauchery, although it can. But I'm talking also in a spiritual sense, where we can let some of the things that hold us back. And I'm going to give you an example. One thing, you guys all know that I love Jesus, right? I love Jesus. But I don't really buy into all of the religious parts of the teachings of Jesus. And I grew up with a lot of different religious teachings. I went Mormon, Catholic, born again Christian. I used to hang out with my Jewish friends that were, oh my gosh, their celebrations were so beautiful. And usually the father would sing the songs. It was so beautiful. I love it. I know that I've got that in me. and but I never quite bought into the whole religious part of Jesus, but I love Jesus. And as I got into metaphysics, as I got into other things, hey, Miss Jules, welcome, honey. And as I got into other things, I started kind of moving away from Jesus because I felt like, well, maybe I'm wrong about that whole thing. Because there's a lot of teachings that are like, Jesus never happened, or there were a whole bunch of Jesuses. A lot of those things, and I got almost a little bit afraid of it, like maybe I'm on the wrong path. And yet Jesus kept coming back into my life. And even my show, New Earth Rising with Sharon, the reason that we connected was because of our love for Jesus and our connection with Mary Magdalene. And so I did that, and yet I still love Jesus. But I got to one point, you guys, and again, we're talking about, throwing off the limitations of what we've been told, where I actually was sitting one night and I was kind of crying, and I was like, Jesus, I don't know how to worship you. I don't want to do it, the way religion says we have to do it. I don't buy into a lot of the baloney. I I feel you, but I don't know how to be with you. I'm confused. And in my meditation, I was just starting to fall asleep. And all of a sudden, he showed, like, right in front of me with his arms out, like he does, right? All those wonderful pictures we see of him, always with the arms out. And he just said, come here. And I just felt myself move towards him. And he just put my head on his chest and he wrapped his arms around me. He said, this is all. So I never ask anyone to worship me. Matter of fact, I ask you not to worship me. He goes, just lay your head on my chest and just be with me. It's all I ask. Oh, the tears, the release, the just be. And that's what he kept saying, just be. Let go of all the wrappings and the stuff that we put around things, the belief systems, the way it has to be, the traditions, the everything, and just be. And that's one of the really big tips that I want to bring to you guys today is just be, right? Let the baloney go. Let those belief systems, let the grief and the guilt and the doubt and the fear and even the anger, let it be. And maybe do it just for a day. Maybe you're not ready to let go of it forever. Maybe that seems like, no, no, it still has a place in my life. Maybe do it for a day. Maybe pick an afternoon where you're just going to let it go. You can even do a little thing. I do this sometimes, right? I pretend like I have a big bucket and I put all my crap in the bucket and set aside. I'm not going to worry about that. How am I going to pay the rent? I need to lose weight. Oh my gosh, I need my hair done. Oh my gosh, so-and-so is angry at me. Oh my gosh, I remember when this happened. I'm still mad about it. Boop, 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 boop. Put everything in that basket, shove it aside, and pretend. What? Yeah, pretend. Use the imagination. Use this tool of creation that we feel like isn't good. It's frivolous. Pretending it's not real. Well, how the heck are you going to make something better? If you don't use your imagination, begin to imagine something better and pretend like it's already here. Pretend like you have all the money in the world. Pretend like you're loved beyond reason. Pretend like you're no longer angry. Pretend like you had a life that was beautiful and wonderful and filled with all the things you wish you had had. Because what happens is when you start putting that energy into the positive, when you give yourself permission to let all that crap go, you begin to create a new way. You begin to shift the energy, shift the frequency, shift the consciousness, shift the reality. All of a sudden, you're jumping timelines, guys. And all we have to do is pretend. That one thing that we all have a natural inclination towards, and we've all been told, no, it's bad. Put that in the bucket. Put that bucket over there. And start spending some time in creating the world the way you want it to be. I want to pretend like my biological father never left when I was young. I want to pretend that I was always loved and celebrated as a child. What would I feel like now? Oh, what would that feel like now? You can do that. You can pretend that. You can make that up. You can imagine that. You can imagineer anything. And that's how you shift energies. That is one of the 5 tips for being a really happy and living a happy, joyous life. Because we are not stuck in the past unless you keep yourself stuck in the past. You're not stuck in the bad situations. You're not stuck in the sadness. One thing, here's another tip too. A lot of us are stuck in grief. A lot of us are stuck in the pain of losing loved ones, whether it's through death, divorce, betrayal. Maybe we had a friend that betrayed us that we believed in and they did something terrible and we're just heartbroken. I have a couple of friends that I've broken up with that it hurt more than like a breakup with a boyfriend. It's like, oh my God, I feel like I've broken up with a boyfriend. This hurts so bad. And a lot of times we stay stuck in that. A lot of times we even identify with that. And when we do that, we keep ourselves in the story, right? We keep going over the story over and over and over and over and over again. And we need to give ourselves permission to stop and say, no, you know what? I want to imagine a different outcome. And I'll tell you what, this is one of my hypnotherapy practices that I do with people that are really, really stuck in the past in pain. Is we do what's called rescripting. And a lot of you have probably heard about rescripting. Hey, Christy, welcome, honey. And rescripting is you go, or I take you into a very deep meditative state that some people call hypnotherapy. And we go in and we look at an issue or a situation, or maybe a few. And then we go back to the beginning before these things happened. And then we walk through that time frame, creating an entirely different story. And I have seen people who have completely shifted their life, one session, just doing a rescripting session. Well, you don't need a hypnotherapist, although I'm there to help you if you need me. You can do that yourself. You can rescript your past and make it better. And here's what happens. A lot of people are like, yeah, but it doesn't change anything. Well, nothing's going to change anything. You staying sad, you staying grief-stricken, you staying mad, you staying hanging on to that isn't changing anything either. So try something new. Try rescripting a situation. Another thing that happens when we have loss is we feel like if we let go of the person that we're grieving, that they'll be lost to us. And the opposite is very, very true. When we, like when my mother passed, still brings tears to my eyes. I love her. She's my best friend. And I didn't even realize it until she was gone, which makes it worse, right? We all have that, right? And I used to just hang on to her. It's like, don't leave me, don't leave me. Years had gone by. And finally, I was just like, I have to let go of this. It's hurting me so much. Mom, I love you. And I'm not letting go of you, but I'm letting go of the pain that's associated with this. And when I did that, oh, my heart wasn't so heavy. I actually began to feel her close to me again. So grief is something that we hold on to for dear life because we're scared to let go, because we've let go of so much and losing them. We've let go. Oh my gosh. But they're never gone. Some of us hold on because we feel guilty for something. Let go of that guilt because it's a heavy, dense frequency And sometimes they want to come to you and talk to you and be with you. And when your heaviness is there, when your frequency is so low, it's hard for them to come through. And then you're holding on because you don't feel them, right? Let go. That's another one of the tips. Let go of those that you're holding on to. And maybe it's a divorce. Maybe you went through a divorce. Maybe there was a lot of turmoil and maybe violence, maybe abuse in the divorce. You have grief and you have guilt and you have shame and you have all this. When you catch yourself thinking about it, going on the hamster wheel, when that feeling comes up like, oh, take it. Have a bucket that you put it in. Set it over in the bucket. I'm ready to let go of that. That when you unburden yourself from the heaviness of life, of this world, right, of just surviving, you begin to get a lightness, you begin to live, you begin to thrive, you begin to find joy again. And we're supposed to have joy. I can guarantee you there is nobody on the other side that wants you to be suffering. We lose all of that when we cross over. Even the most dastardly of fellows, they go into that light, they go into that peace and that harmony. And I've even heard from people who have had near-death experiences, who have said, man, I was really a bad person. And I had this experience. And when I came back, I was like, whoa, I got to see what my life was. And I got to see what it was all about. And I got to see the other side. And I got to see the different sides of experiences I went through. I got to see things, how God saw things. It's a very different view. So letting go, also looking at things from a different perspective. So often we see something and we think that's right, I'm right, that's the only way, it's the only way it could be. How could they not know? How could they not see? How could they not see it my way? Oh my gosh. And it is such a beautiful skill to be able to look at things from different perspective. Well, I wonder how they would be looking at it. I wonder how God would look at it. I wonder how Jesus would look at it. I wonder what my mom would say. We look at it. I wonder what my friend would say. And even if you had friends who could be brutally truthful with you, right? A lot of friends, they're going to be on your side. And thank God for them too, right? Even that's why, a lot of people go to clergy or therapists. They can give you a different view, can give you a different perspective on things. Because there isn't any one way. Every single one of us experience things differently because we're each an individual. We're a fractal of the one. And we're here to experience things differently. That's the other thing to remind ourselves as well, is that we're here to experience all this stuff, right? Ooh, I experienced that. Cool. Mark it off my list, right? And then move forward. Move forward. What's next? What's the next wonderful thing that I can experience? What's the next joyous thing that I can do? And stop hanging out in the past, because you're not going to change it. All the worry, all the anger, all the grief, all the shame, all the everything. It's not going to change the past. But you can change the energy of the past that will affect you in this moment, that can give you a much brighter future. And you can walk into that Mardi Gras of the future, the party and the fun and the joy and the happiness and the music and the bright lights and the sparkles and all of the good stuff that we really want our lives to be, It's really fun when you can decide to have some fun. And so what I want to challenge all of you guys with is I would like for you guys from this week until next week to write down 5 things that are fun for you. And I mean really fun. Like, do you like going to the fair every year? Or maybe you're not so crazy about the fair, but maybe you like Ferris wheels. Maybe you like to ride horses, but maybe you haven't ridden one for too long because your back is bad. Doesn't matter. What are 5 things that you would like to do that would make you really, really happy? No limitations. Money is not a limitation. Physical health is not a limitation. Where you are in life is not a limitation. What would make you happy? Hey, Rosie, what would make you happy? Because we are letting go of the past. We are trying to look at things at a new perspective. We're deciding to be happy. we're beginning to catch ourselves and our emotions and the way we're feeling when they're heavy and they're icky and we don't like them. And we're choosing to re-script, to use our imagination, to use the skills that we have of this amazing thing to start shifting that energy. And then the fifth thing is the play. Start playing. Start playing some more. You know, you guys see me being a goofball all the time. This is how I keep joy in my life. I wear unicorn horns, right? I do silly things that make me happy. And I always hope that it makes other people giggle too. You know, some people will get really annoyed by this. That's okay. It's not my responsibility to make other people happy. It's my responsibility to make myself happy. And when I make myself happy and I have that joyous attitude, it tends to be infectious. It tends to be infectious. Mm. So that is my talk today on 5 tips on how to live your life like it's a Mardi Gras. How many of you guys have been to Mardi Gras? Let me know in the chat. Who has ever been to Mardi Gras? I want to know. I want to know you. I want to hear from you because it looks like so much fun and I've always wanted to go. And my cousin used to go and he'd be like for an Alcorn, Alicorn. My cousin used to go and he used to always say, "Oh, come with us," and I could never go. And it's funny because I'm fascinated by it. I feel like I maybe have, like a past slash concurrent life connection with the whole, New Orleans kind of thing. I have this huge draw and attraction to the South in general, which I've never been there. I've never been to the South. You've been to the craziest, but have been to New Orleans. Oh, I see. Not to Mardi Gras, but to it is crazy, isn't it? Even not during Mardi Gras, it's crazy. It's fun. It's crazy, and people are getting crazier too, right? There's more people, and there's more crazy people. People need to blow off steam, and that's a lot of what that Mardi Gras is too. It's really about letting go of all of the worries of the world and just flinging it off and just letting her rip. And we all need to do that sometimes. And we can do that a lot of different ways. People that are athletic, a lot of times that's the way they do that, especially like runners and people that really do intense athletics. It's burning it off. We need to find a way to do that. We need to find a way to really let it go. Singing is another one. Drum circles are a great way to do that. I'm trying to arrange a drum circle for those of you that are close by. Do a drum circle at my home. So fun. I've got a great backyard to do that. We get a little fire pit going. Probably drive the neighbors crazy, but that's okay. They probably can use a little dink, dink, blink, bink, diddling, bink, bink, dink. So maybe we'll do it when you're here, Christy. So that is my Mardi Gras 5 tips for a happy life. I hope that it helps you guys, and I hope it just like makes you guys feel happy and realize that we're supposed to be enjoying. We're supposed to be laughing. I want you guys to laugh every single day. Sometimes we have to laugh at ourselves. I mean, life is hilarious. It really is. Today I did something. I was wiping off the counters and there was a lot of water at one part and I didn't know what it was. And I was thinking about it and I was actually like leaning against it and leaning in and pulling it towards me. And I spilled water all over me. I looked at myself. And as I did that, I've got, what do they call that? Bull nose on the counter. So it doesn't like stop. It like rounds around. I slid off the counter and whacked my arm really hard. And I was like, oh my God. And I sat there, my poor arm was like, wah, wah, wah. And I was laughing my butt off because it was so tarded what I did that it was like, oh my gosh, Michele, please come on. I'm all wet. We got to laugh at ourselves. We've got to let go. We've got to laugh at life. It's not supposed to be this hard and this heavy. And we do that by really making the choices to do so. So I really, if you guys want to put it here in the comments down below, 5 things that would bring you joy that you could do or would do or want to do, or just come up with, make something up. Please open up your imagination and start pretending. Let's pretend a new, better life, huh? Let's do it together. We can do it together. And I just so believe in this. I just know, and to the very marrow of my bones, to the very DNA within my cells, that we created what we have. And I know that. I just know it. And so if we created this, we can create something better. Creating something of a higher frequency is our nature. We are creators by nature. We're all divine. We're all divine. We're creators. So let's create something better, and we can do it when we're doing it together. So I'd like to see what you guys want to create. I want more unicorns, man. I want to live in a life where I've got unicorns in the background that are happy, and they jump around and they sparkle in the sun, and they sing songs of beautiful times gone by. I just want the fun and the happiness and the joy. And a lot of it feels like childlike nonsense, but who cares? Because it makes me happy. What makes you guys happy? What makes you guys happy? I want to hear about that. We need to start building a matrix of happiness. And this is one way we can start. Where's your Mardi Gras, man? Where's your Mardi Gras? So I love this with you guys. I really want to hear about this. I really want to see you guys stepping in and starting taking action on some of this stuff. Because when we can do it together, when we can know that we're all working on this together, it makes it so fun. It makes it so fun. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. I look forward to hearing about this. And I love you guys so much.